What is up, guys? And welcome to another Bojangin vlog. I thought I would do the same funny thing that I did last week, but anyway, so this week I'm still in the dark, right? Like, it's literally 4:30 right now. It's 4:30 in the afternoon. And it's literally nighttime. How crazy is that shit, man? But yeah, so last week I gave kind of a hopefully an uplifting kind of an entry where I talked about doing what you love and going even further into that, right? Because it's my core message, and on this channel, if I were to have a message, right? And I'm guessing whoever's watching this also is on a path of the heart, and so sometimes it's just nice to have a bit of encouragement. But yeah, so this week, I'm just really going to provide like a brief kind of expansion to that. Yeah, with a few kind of miscellaneous ideas I had, surround like that are related to this whole doing what you love thing, right? So yeah, so I mentioned last week. Oh, okay, so first I'll talk about like about like the whole kind of like focusing on love aspect of the heart-centered path. But then in the second half I'm going to talk about like specifically for healers, right? So I'm a healer, and as such I'm thinking that like a lot of my content will resonate more with healer types, right? People who like make stuff that heals people, basically, that makes people feel like good and soothed and at peace, that kind of thing. Things that to get people to feel and to become more sensitive, right? That's the kind of because inspiration is fast becoming, like, it's already become really like a very big kind of like a sector, a big niche, right? Because there are people who like inspire people through like kind of basically like shocking people into action, or like physically like not forcing, but like kind of like pushing them into action, like the whole kind of gym motivational type of thing. Then there's like like the people who like kind of like operate from a more then there are more like kind of like thought leaders and people like that who like, and I guess I'm kind of like this in a way as well, but like a big area of my life that I've been focused on is that I have been focusing on, because it's kind of, I guess it's the image that I want to present to the world, if you will, right? And B, like it's something that it's a part of me that I've always loved. It's the part of me that I love the most, probably. The part of my identity that I love the most, and so like that's why I want to bring it to the forefront. But yeah, so those are the kind of two parts of this entry that I'm going to delve into. But like, so last week I talked about like the difference really between like telling people about your path of the heart and making them feel it, right? Because you, as a heart-centered being, as someone who wants to do what they love and champion that, it can be a very tough road filled with people like trying to dissuade you away from doing what you love, and giving you, I guess, in their eyes, well-meaning advice, but to you it's just like, stop what you're doing because it's not practical, right? And all of this fear that they have, right, and society has in general, and like it can very easily, like when you're frustrated and you're trying to do what you're doing, and it's just like, and you're just trying your best, like just to keep going, and then there are these people who aren't helping and they're trying to help, and it's just like so frustrating. It can be very easy to kind of be overwhelmed by it and be like, you know what, fuck everyone, fuck the world, like they don't understand, fuck it. And that is okay, you know, really, but like, the thing is that like, what will add eventually, I'm not there yet, you know, obviously this is just my thoughts on the matter, but like, from my perspective, right, the most kind of like wholesome and conscious and enlightened kind of approach to doing what you love is to do what you love fully, you know, like as condensed and as distilled as you possibly can. Basically, like, not settling for anything that is less than what you truly care about. And that actually can be surprisingly hard, because like you have doubts, and you're like, maybe I should do something a bit safer, maybe I should do something that's a bit more like widely known, you know. But no. And obviously, like, you have to make compromises sometimes, right, in the real world, but like but the overall vision, you don't want to compromise that. You know, the specific areas or niches that you want to tackle, you don't want to compromise that, right? Like, what the value that you offer, value as distinct from products and services, right? Because products and services are tangible. It's like you make a program, you make a piece of art, you know, those, or you provide a tangible service. Those things are tangible, right? But value is intangible. Value is how you make people feel through your products and services, right? The products and services that you offer might change, because that's life, right? But the value that you offer, you don't want to compromise on that, because you know full well what your value is. If you search deep, you will find it, you know. And I'm guessing if you know, if you're watching this video, then you probably know what it is, right? And it's probably like healing. Like, if you follow me, right, then like it's probably like you're probably a healer, you know, because I am a healer and I make videos for healers, right? Specifically, but yeah, but you know, still, you know, as you're going on this journey, it's hard, like, you know, and other people, like, you know, it's like you just kind of become a bit like disdainful of other people, not because you want to be, you know that people, like, they're just trying to get on with their life, you know. Society isn't that bad, really, you know. It's just like, it's, you know, it is what it is, right? You know, like, at least people don't kill each other, like, everywhere, right? You know, that kind of a thing. Not to say that there isn't killing in the world, there is, and I'm sure there's a lot of it, but like, but generally speaking, like, you know, we're pretty civilized, by and large, you know. And you know that, and you don't, you know, you're not like personally, like, you know, like, you don't hold a grudge against anyone, but it's just like, you're just like, but I still need to do what I love, and these people aren't helping me, so like, unfortunately, I just have to like let them go, and it sucks, and it hurts me deeply to do so, because it's just like, you know, as a sensitive person, it hurts you deeply when you have to like kind of like choose between things, and like and have to be an asshole basically to people, like, you know, because like you're doing your own selfish thing, and they're just worried about you, and you're like, and you know you're a piece of shit because you're doing something selfish, and they just care about you, you know, that whole thing, right? But it eventually makes a man out of you, I guess, like, in the sense that, like, you know, you have to become a bit ruthless, right, to get what you want to do, to kind of do what you want to do, right? But like, the thing is that, like, from my perspective, the most like wholesome thing that you can do in the long run is to eventually bridge the gap between those who like, between the people who support you and the people who don't support you, whether that be actively or passively, right? And just to spread your love to everyone, you know. The people who are dissuading you right this instant, whether it be for like, you know, for vindictive reasons, or for like misguided, like, caring about you but just worried about you, fearful type of a motivation, right? When you start to make your art, and when you succeed ultimately, right, you will be in a position to share your love that you cultivated over the years through your hard work and your sacrifice in order to get better at your art or craft or business, right? You can take that love and you can give it to them. You don't have to. You don't have to persuade them, because, like, you're like, they'll never understand. Maybe they won't. If you try to explain it to them, they won't understand. Because, like, you will never be able to beat their logic. Because they're like, logically, you should be sensible. Let's be honest, right? Because it's like, they're not. From their perspective, it's like, I'm not trying to, like, be like a party pooper. I really don't. Like, I love the fact that you have a dream, but, like, I'm just being realistic here. It's hard, and, like, there's no guarantees. Like, I'm just worried about you. Like, people are like that, right? That's how most people are. Like, particularly family and friends and stuff like that. But, like, if you know that this path is for you, and like I said in the previous entry and in other entries, like, it's not a choice. You can tell a snake not to bite a rabbit, but it will. It's like that, right? Like, again, like, do you think that you have a choice loving what you love? Right? Do I think I have a choice loving what I love? No. Sometimes I'm like, maybe I do have a choice, but, like, it's like, I don't, right? I can't change what I like, right? So, and I'm sure you're the same way. And so, like, if we know that this is absolutely what we're going to do, because I guess we don't have a choice, like, it's one way of viewing it, but because it is our heart's calling and our path, as it were, right? Our lifelong pursuit, our path to mastery, right? Then do it. Do it fully. Do it 100%, 110%, 200%, 1,000%. And then once you're doing it, don't make an enemy. At least not right away, right? Some people, they'll never accept you. Like, I'm sorry to break it to you. No, it's like, I mean, we all know this, right? It's like, not everyone's going to resonate with you. Even people, like, that were once friends, or family, right? So not everyone's going to get what you're doing or appreciate it, right? But, like, for the people who are on the fence and they were just concerned and fearful, right? Like, obviously, you don't necessarily want to be like, you didn't support me. You told, like, who's that gonna help? Like, I understand it's tempting to do that. Like, it's tempting to, like, do my music and then eventually come up with a song that says, fuck you to all of you people who didn't believe in me. Fuck you. Telling me that I couldn't do it. I fucking did it. Ha! In your face, bitch, I mean, yeah, like, maybe we all deserve one of those, right? Like, funnily enough, like, for those of us on the journey, like, all of the shit that we have to go through, like, maybe we deserve one of those, where we make something that's like a fuck you to the people, like, fuck you, but I love you, right? Kind of a thing. But jokes aside, right? Like, ultimately, like, you're not, like, are you doing this because you wanted to prove other people wrong? Was that your primary reason for going on this path? Of course not. Your reason for doing this path, if I am so bold to claim on your behalf, right? I'm not really claiming anything. I'm just guessing, right? But I'm confident in my guess because I'm the same way, hopefully, right? You did this because you love it. Maybe eventually when people started to oppose you, you're like, I'll prove you wrong. But, like, it never started like that. It started because you love what you love, and you wanted to do it in your life. So, like, eventually, that's the foot that you want to put forward. It's like, yeah, like, it's all water under the bridge. I'll be honest, like, it was hard, but, like, it's okay because I know that you were just worried about me, And now, let me show you what I've been working on. Let me show you. Right. So there's a thing that I was thinking of, which is ignorance is bliss, right? this is actually, well, this is, I guess, somewhat unrelated, right? But like this is more like, okay, so let's say that you're not quite there, right? Okay, Bo Jinjin, you sound like a fucking messiah right now. That's great for you, right? But like, have you done it yet? I don't think you have. So what are you doing right now that's moving towards that, right? And it's like, okay, right, so you might have to ignore people. but like, you have to understand that the reason you're ignoring people is not because you want to push them out your life. Like, this is something that was really hard for me to understand, is like, I'm not necessarily pushing. Initially I was, right? The reason I'm so alone is because I pushed a lot of my friends away because I was scared that they would sabotage me down the road. Now I have less of that opinion because I started to build some stuff in my life, right? But, you know, you might have to ignore people, right? Again, not because, and you might have to ignore people and kind of like be a bit passive aggressive in that sense. Like, again, passive aggression like implies that you that you're trying to hurt people, but it's not in this case, right? It means like they obviously want you to stop, right? And you're not going to stop, but you understand that like you're doing this for love. So right now, in order to build that love and to build that career or whatever it might be, like, you have to. When I say ignore them, I don't mean like necessarily ignoring them, because you can't ignore them forever. Particularly if, like, you know, if they're family or something, you have to see them at some point. But what you do is that when you see them, you show the love that you have been cultivating to them. And if they're decent people, like if they're not like overly like narcissistic and like and in a lot of pain themselves, you know, and insecure and stuff like that, then like they will at least see, they will feel it. They will feel like, okay, like they are doing something. It does seem like they're loving what they're doing, right? And when I say ignore them, right, I don't so I'm not like, I don't mean ignore them per se. I mean ignore their fear. That's what I mean. That's what I mean by ignorance is bliss, right? Isn't that a thing? The term ignorance is bliss, like the saying, it implies like, or rather like the meaning behind it is like, you know, people who don't know the true workings of the world, like they have this kind of false bliss, right? Because they don't know the dangers and the horrors of the world, right? And that's kind of obviously like the commonly understood meaning of that thing, right? But like there's another kind of like little nuance that I thought up of myself, right? To that term, ignorance is bliss, because it is literally the case, and I can prove it. Well, I can't prove it, but like I can use something like law of attraction to validate it, right? Basically, like, what do they say in law of attraction? Like, whatever you focus on manifests, right? So there are a lot of people in the LOA community who have the belief, right, that if you focus on positivity, you will manifest positivity, and that is true. Not exclusively, right? That's the there's many caveats to law of attraction, right? In my experience, law of attraction only works if you're not like dogmatic about it, and you're not like overly conceptual about it, right? So aka you have to like accept that life is not perfect, and that you will have, even if you focus positively, you will have dark shit come at you or arise within you, right? And those things take a different approach, like I explained in my videos, right? You know, Spirituality 101 and Spirituality 2.0 take different approaches. One is all light based, right, and the other one is all dark and fucking ugly, right? And it's not so much a striving towards that thing, like I'm going to become more attractive, I'm going to become wise, I'm going to be more enlightened. It's less of an attractive energy and more of a, I've been pushing the fact that I am a covert narcissist, like in my video, right? Forever. Forever. And I don't like it, and I never will like it. But I can't push away from it anymore. I can't. And it hurts me, like, my heart hurts. I'm a closet. Like, that's the kind of thing that happens in spirituality 2.0. It's like, it's the opposite, if you will, energetically. But, what are we talking about? Yeah, so, anyway, like, ignorance is bliss means that there is love and fear in the world, right? There is light and dark. There is positive and negative, right? Optimism, pessimism, right? And if someone is giving you negativity, then, and you respond with negativity, then it creates more negativity, energetically, right? To you, you might consciously be thinking, as you're berating that person, like, they just don't understand. I'm going to show them one day that I'll show those fucking people that love is the answer, man. You can say that, but was my energy just now loving? No, right? Again, not to say like that will happen to me. I know it, right? I know absolutely. Like, again, like I have to give my disclaimer, and like I sound like a pompous asshole in my videos, but like that's just my style of talking. But like, but hopefully I try to bring it back, right? And to make whoever's watching this realize that I'm just a fucking normal person myself. Like, I try to stop myself from thinking that I'm better than other people. Not to say that I try to think that I'm better than other people, but like, yeah, you know what I mean, right? But like, yeah, ignorance is bliss means ignore fear and focus on love. Notice, like I said, like just now, like you can't completely ignore fear because you feel it. In the same, I was talking about pain and connecting with pain and all this stuff, right? Why do I talk about pain so much? You have to connect with it, motherfucker. You have to. Because sometimes, like, you just have to. Right? Life is love and pain, and fear, right? So when pain and fear comes, you have, like, and you can't suppress it, you just have to be with it. I made an entry 2 weeks ago about, like, 4 steps you can do to alleviate, like, emotional suppression, right? If you haven't seen that, check it out. But yeah, but like, as you start to build a life that you love, when you start to do the stuff that you love, right, then, and I mean really do it. I mean, like, you start to, like, if you want to learn the piano, you start to play the piano. If you want to make a business, you start to, like, brainstorm business ideas, and you start, like, kind of putting up, like, a rough semblance of a business plan. Or, like, if you want to be an athlete, you're already training, like, 6 days a week or however much you need to, right? Or you're trying to do something on the internet and you're already kind of setting up, like, things. You might be live streaming, you might be uploading videos, right? Or you might want to be a writer, so you're already writing, right, every day, like, maybe not every day, but you're writing. You started to write, right, and you're starting to, like, write, and you're starting to develop some material for yourself, right? Once you start to do that, right, if you're already doing it, like, you will have a space energetically in your life that is love, that is full of love. Right, it's like you start to be like, okay, like, whatever shit I deal with in the other areas of my life, right, with people and society, I know the minute that I make my videos, the minute that I sit down and play the piano, the minute that I start vlogging or writing, like, fiction or non-fiction, the minute that I start to keep my journal, right, the minute that I start to cook food, delicious food, right, the minute I start to dance, to sing, right, to move, to make love, right, the minute that I start to do those things, I will know love, right? And you already feel it. Like when you think about those things, when you do those things, you feel so loving. The love is in your heart, right? So with that alongside of you, you know, with that loving home of, I know, like, I do this because I love it, right? You can afford to ignore other people. And you're not ignoring them to be an asshole to them, but you're ignoring their fear. And then when you eventually see them, they might be fearful still. They might be fearful for the rest of their lives. Let's be honest, right? You know, it's not really your call to make, but what you can do is to champion love and focus on love where they're focusing on negativity, right? Again, it's tempting, right? Like, you see the difference, right? I hope, like, you know, if you follow me, like, you probably already know this. Like, again, like, I'm preaching to the choir, right? You're a sensitive person. You're a conscious person, right? When you say, like, I'm not going to talk to them, they just don't understand, right? When you think that, when you say it, you know, I will show them that I'm doing what I love. Like, that's not necessarily how you feel. You actually might be feeling loving at the time, speaking those very words, right? But you have to be mindful of how you feel. Like, do you feel like the sinking feeling of dealing with them, right? And that's okay if you do. That is fear, right? When you feel that sinking feeling, like, in your chest and like your stomach, and you feel your breath start to become shallow, like, because their anxiety has rubbed off on you. Like, they're like, maybe like something happened and they're like so and so when it got into an accident. You better be careful too. Are you still doing that stupid delivery job thing? You know, it's so dangerous, and you're blah blah. And it's like, when stuff like that happens, right? You know, like, yes, like, you will feel it. You will feel that stinking feeling of, like, because their anxiety is starting to rub off you, their fear, right? But what you do is you be with it as long as it needs to be there, right? But eventually, if you've been building on love, right, in your life and doing the stuff that you love, eventually, like, you will realize that you can always go back to love. You can always go back to love, right? And eventually you will be better able to hold an energetic space of love where they are holding fear. They won't expect it. To them, like, they think you've gone crazy. Maybe in a good way, right? It'll be weird because it's like, they expect you to either shout at them, not a shout, but like to say something like that is like, that has the energy of defense in it, like, I'll be okay, don't worry about me. Right? You say those words, like, they expect something like that because they're like, because they expect for you to be in the energy of fear, like they are, right? Energy is pervasive. It isn't like it isn't like an identification type of thing. It's more of like a feeling thing, right? So, like, they expect to feel you be fearful along with them by saying things like, "Don't worry, you know, you're worrying too much. I'm okay," right? But if they're like, oh, like, I really think you should reconsider. You know, like, this is not good, and you're like, yeah, I know. And then you change the subject. Maybe you're like, by the way, like, I want to come home next week, you know, to see you, or like, blah blah blah, right? And like, and you put a smiley face in there, right? Like, they're like, what the fuck, right? And if they are normal people, aka, like, not like, you know, like, not people who are like chronically negative, because there are some people who will resist the fuck out of any positivity, right? Resist it, just because that's who they are, right? And unfortunately for me, you know, obviously my heart goes out to people like who have to deal with people like that. But, like, fortunately for me, like, no one in my life is that like, you know, like, you know, like, no positivity, only negativity, right? Only chaos, only shit, right? But like, if they're normal people, right, they will feel, they in their bodies, right? I can tell you this now, right? They will start to calm down. they still won't understand what you're doing, right? But like they'll be like, okay, and you say something like, you might say like, I'll handle it, like when you're in like fear, right? But you might also say, I'll handle it. I'll handle it so that I can keep making my art, right? And you say that to them, and like, they'll be like, they'll feel safe. It'll be weird to them because they weren't expecting to feel safe. They were because like to them it's like, you're doing this thing, and you're doing this thing, and like, and it's risky, and why are you doing this? It's like, so and so has had this problem, and this shit has happened on the news, and like, they don't expect to feel safe, but like they talk to you, and you might not even say that much. Maybe even less than if you were feeling fearful, to be honest, right? Because when you're fearful, you're defensive, and you're trying to like persuade them, like subconsciously you're thinking, leave me alone, right? But like what you're saying is like, I'm okay, stop worrying, like I'll be fine, I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll do this. But like, maybe if you are in love, when the energy of love is in your heart, hope, possibility, optimism, right? Because you have all of this other stuff in your life that you're doing that brings you joy, right? And you say to them, I'll be okay. Thank you for worrying about me. By the way, I'm coming home next week. Smiley face. Oh, by the way, I found this thing, or like I cooked this meal yesterday. I'll show you a picture of it. It's really nice, right? It's like, they still don't understand what the fuck you're doing, or even why you're so calm about it. But just because you are in love, in the energy of love, they will feel it. Energy is pervasive. Energy permeates. It's an aura. It's not an action or an identity, right? Or anything that is like that, right? It is just energy, right? So they will feel it whether or not they won't expect it, right? That's the thing. They won't expect it. 9 times out of 10, probably. I don't know. Well, obviously, like, you're not going to do this every single time, but if you kind of like learn to like cut off the negativity that they're kind of like spilling out of them, right? But you're not feeling really loving, and because like they are being negative to you, but like you can just learn to be like to kind of put a stop to it. It'll be like, it'll amaze you, right? Again, you won't be able to do it every time. Like, I'm just speaking from my experience, because like sometimes I just get negative. Again, like, you can't fucking help. Sometimes you just get fucking negative. What are you gonna do about it? But when you manage to kind of stop the negativity, like, you start to feel the worry and anxiety rise in you. But then maybe you take a deep breath. Maybe you go out for a walk. Maybe you kind of like just take a bit of space and do something else. Maybe you make a smoothie for yourself, right? And you get back to that text or whatever it might be, right? And you're like, and you've already, and in the break you were thinking about what you're doing, and like what you're, like the project that you're working on right now, and like the fact that you're going to do a live stream tonight that's going to be like, and you're already thinking about what music you're going to play, or what game you're going to play, or what art you're going to make, and that love has already started to fill you, and you go back to that phone and you're like, I love you. Like, you just feel like this person's only worried about me. Have you ever thought, like, why can't I be more like that? So you see people do that, like, maybe in your periphery, right? You either in real life or in like shows and stuff, like where people can just be like calm like that. When someone's freaking out and like a person's just like, they're just being worried. Yeah, try telling that to yourself when you're naturally negative, right? It's like, they're just worried about me. But I just wish they weren't so worried, you feel that? Whereas like if you give yourself a moment to cut off the negativity. You don't have to cut it off violently. You just have to like, whoop, hold on a minute there, man. Just give me 1 second. I'll be right back, right? You go away, you take a break, you make some food, you drink some smoothie. You think about like what you're going to do tonight in the way of like your art, right? Or whatever it might be, right? And you come back and you see them, and you see, obviously you know it's negativity, right? You're not like kind of like, ignorance is not ignoring, right? This is like the little caveat, like ignoring is something different. like aka like ignoring shit that you don't want to deal with, right? Sometimes you have to deal with stuff, obviously, right? But what I mean by ignorance is like focusing on the right energy, right? So I hope that was useful. Just a little tip that again, like, it's not going to work every single time, but maybe it will. You never know. That's the thing. You never know. But like, in my kind of experience, like, I found that, like, if I just focus on the love, and you will be able to focus on it if you're already building it. If you can't focus on love, it means you haven't built it yet. If that's the case, then I recommend you go and watch a video called "The Reason You're Not XXX Enough." It's because you haven't owned yourself yet. Like, I invite you to watch that video. It's all about why can't you be more loving? Why can't you be more this? Why can't you be more talkative? If you're thinking like that, it's because you haven't owned yourself yet. And what is owning yourself? Is it like, own yourself, bitch? Why aren't you owning yourself? You stupid not owning self little bitch. No. Of course. Well, this is the great thing. Is because own yourself means own you. Doesn't matter what some random idiot on the internet is saying, or anyone else. It is own you. Do you like Pokemon? Do you like insect collecting? Do you like flower pressing? Do you like bobsleighing, right? Do you like sewing or cooking, right? Or anything like that. Yeah, so when you meet that opposition from when you meet that opposition from people, right? Yeah, like, yes, maybe they might be trying to derail you. They might be trying to sabotage you. That's for you to know, right? Usually, like, I would say that anyone who is outside of your close circle of friends or family, don't take what they say seriously, because you never know, right? If they're just random people or, like, acquaintances, there's no need to take what they're saying seriously. But for the people who, like, are closer to you, and occasionally they throw these pebbles, then I don't know. I think you can safely assume that they're not trying to wreck your life. It's just that they're worried or they're fearful, right? And in that case, if you determine that that's the case, then what you can do is you can like, just, you can focus on love, right? Focus on love, which is why I say ignorance is bliss, right? Because ignorance is bliss in the sense that, like, yeah, if you don't know anything, then you'll be in bliss, right? But is bliss that is ignorance any different from bliss that isn't ignorant, if that makes sense? It's still bliss, but the thing is, like, obviously, like what you're aiming for as a person in the real world is not to be naive, right? It's not don't be naive. It's like, eventually shit's gonna happen to you, right? Should I tell a funny story? I guess I will. Like, I mean, yeah. Okay, I won't give specifics, but, like, you may notice a bit of a blip in my video just now, and that was because some policemen just knocked on my door, right? Because for whatever reason, I think they were thinking I was doing some kind of illicit activity, right? But it's all cool. I'm just making fucking vlog videos, right? So, like, basically, I got pranked just now. Like, shit like that will happen to you. So what are you gonna do about it, right? Like, you can't there's not a lot you can do aside from, like, continue to do what you love, right? You can continue to get on with your life, right? So, like, becoming, like, like, just living long enough, you won't be naive for much longer, right? But, like, ignorance is bliss. In my, like in the way that I was explaining it, means focus on love. Because like, I say focus on love, but the focusing on love is effective when it is only effective when you're not trying to ignore the darkness. Right. So everything, right? You know that if someone is trying to dissuade you, it is because they are probably both, right? You don't know for certain, right? But you can guess from your own knowledge of yourself and how you feel towards other people, right? That it is a mixture between being worried, genuine like worry and concern, and genuine like kind of like I don't want them to fuck themselves over, and it's also envy, and it's also fear of you leaving them, and it's also all of this other dark shit. It's there. If you can kind of see it, if you can kind of see it, then it's probably the case. But then obviously like the mistake is to take that too far, right? Yeah, everyone has like these kinds of thoughts. Everyone's like a bit worried. Everyone kind of like, if people can prank me in my car for no reason, what have I done? Right? I haven't done anything. They were like, I don't know. I'm not going to say what exactly it was, but like they were saying like I was doing some like dodgy shit in my car basically, and like I didn't do anything to hurt anyone. If people can do that shit, I don't know, because they're fucking bored or that they're actually cunts, right? Then you can safely say that everyone probably has like some degree of like darkness in them. Some like kind of like not so, let's say virtuous thoughts and motivations, right? However, once you know that, then you can breathe it in, let it frighten you, because it frightens me, right? If you're on a path of the heart, you will probably feel frightened a lot. I'm not saying that to discourage anyone. It's just what happens is like challenges will come, and they will threaten your life. not I say it so like dramatically. I mean like, like you'll face like financial problems, you'll face like problems with other things, people pranking you, like you'll face these things, right? And yeah, and that's part of it. But as long as you are doing what you love, then you will at least have that. Right? You will at least have that. You will have love. And you will be able to connect with people who also have love. And you will be a vessel of love. You will also be a vessel of fear, but you will be different from the vast majority of people in that the vast majority of people are in a state of perpetual fear, pretty much. It's like not to say that they're always that they actually literally are perpetually all fear, but like the majority of their lives, fear, right? Particularly when it comes to like actually doing something meaningful with their lives, fearful. And you'll be different because you don't ignore fear, because fear is real and it has a place in this existence, right? You don't think that you're going to be scared when a gang of yous approach you in a dark alley. Of course you're going to be fucking fearful, right? You don't think you're going to be scared when like you see like that you're actually in the red and you're getting close to your overdraft limit. Of course you're going to be fucking scared, right? But you deal with that as you deal with it, right? And then once it's dealt with, you don't do what most other people do, which is to fucking like start like worrying about this and carrying on with this. It's like, no, you're like, okay, I can now focus on love. I can go back home, sit on my desk, and do something positive with my life and feel good. And that's that. Anyway, there was something else I wanted to talk about. yeah, I guess I'll tack this on, but like basically, it's related. It's related to it's related to yeah, it's related to this, but like love can seem. This is talking specifically to healers, right? And like love can seem weak. And this is something I come back to from time to time, that I talk about on my channel, which is like, when you follow a path of what you love, does that mean that you're a pussy? Using the common lingo, right? A lot of people think so, and I guess it kind of does, if you're not confident about it. Because if you're confident about what you love, right, you will protect it. You know, is someone who is not confident about what they love, are they like, oh yeah, you're kind of right, My Little Pony My Little Pony is kind of for little girls, huh? I guess that kind of makes me a bit of a pussy. Like, is that what they're saying? Or are they like, yeah, I like it. Is it a bad thing that I like it? Because, not to say that you're implying that, but like, it's fucking like, and it's just a fucking show, get over it. I like cute shit, right? I'm not saying it's the best show. I'm not saying I'm like a fucking bro, like, no disrespect, right? Obviously, like, if you love it, great. Absolutely amazing. Keep doing it. Seriously. And I don't even mean that ironically. Like, seriously, you owe it to yourself to love that thing, right? I say love it. You already love it, right? But to act on it, right? But, yeah, it's like, to be confident about love, right? Is what I'm trying to say. But inherently, love can be very tender. Or rather, like, sometimes things in the world, particularly in today's society, right? Today's society, let me tell you what, right? Today's society is full of fucking, like posers and fucking edgelords. If you want the honest fucking truth, right? In society nowadays, it's just a bunch of fucking posers and edgelords on the internet. That's what most of the internet is, right? It's people who put up a fucking front, and like, they prank you for no fucking reason, right? Because they have nothing fucking better to do in their lives, right? That's most of society. And obviously, yeah, it's a bit of a rant on my, like, obviously, like, not everyone is like this, not the whole of society is like this, but like, but this kind of an energy that these kinds of people bring, like, basically a lot of very aggressive and mischievous kind of an energy, right? Like, and like, in what's the word? Impervious, not impervious, like what's the word? Yeah, like, basically, but like an act that they're tough and no one can touch them, kind of an energy, right? It's like, gangster, like, type of, like, thug type of, like type of mentality, right? Like, that kind of energy is very persuasive, because it persuades people to abandon love, basically. Even you and I, like, sometimes I'm like, I know that, like, life is not all sunshine and rainbows, and like, occasionally I have to protect myself, right? And I have to be on the defensive. Like I said, right, you have to know when to throw down, whether figuratively or physically, right? Because some people will just fucking mess with you, as an example. Or some shit will go wrong, and you will fail. And you will run out of money, and this other thing will happen to you, and this person will slander you and say this shit about you, and like, people like, fucking Huppo Jinjin, he does weird shit in his car, right? It's like, that shit will happen to you, right? And amidst all of this fucking, like, posing, like, fucking, like, like, basically, like, thug mentality, right? There's one side of it that I'm not really a fan of, but like, Like just like, and yeah, and people like who present this fucking like overly aggressive fucking thing, right? It can be very persuasive. It can make you start to think like, maybe I need to be more tough, right? And that's okay because you kind of do, right? You gotta know when to throw down, right? You can't let these people fucking fuck your life over some stupid little thing, and you're like, please don't hurt me. Here's all my money and my dreams on a silver platter for you. Someone who just happened to do a little prank on me, right? Not to say that I won't be like that, right? Who's to say, right? I'm just, illustrating, right? But like, you never know. Like, if people rob you, like, what the fuck are you supposed to do? Like, fucking be like, fuck you! I'm on my dream. You can't touch me. It's like, no, they're probably gonna rob you, and you're gonna have a lot of problems, and whatever, right? But like, yeah, like, be tough, right? Toughen up. Protect yourself against, and your dreams. Protect yourself and your dreams from people who want to fuck it up, basically. Right? But love is not weakness. It's not. Do you know what weakness is? Weakness is an inability to house love. How's that for fucking weakness? All these people you see, and this might get me in fucking trouble. It's like just like that. Speaking these fucking words is going to trigger people, right? Like, I'm not like obviously like people watching this, but like people like edgelords and and like these fucking idiots in society. Like, it's going to trigger them, right? But like the people who are like put on this tough guy act, fucking messing with people and shit and starting trouble, right? You think they're doing that because it helps them, right? Occasionally they might get a laugh with their mates, or like they might get like some like they might get something at the expense of someone else, right? But like, do you think that is strength? I'm not necessarily saying that love is strength either, right? Because there are many ways of like describing strength and explaining what strength is, right? But like, to me, right, someone who is unable to do anything else other than being a fucking nuisance to other people, because I'm fucking hard, mate, because because fuck you artistic bastard, like, I don't know, like whatever fucking words these kids are throwing around these days. You think like just because you can like insult people online, and that's all you can do, you think that's fucking strength? Ha! Anyway, I'm ranting a bit because of this prank and shit, but the point I'm trying to make is that like love. And by love, I say this word a lot, but like, like when you think about doing something that you enjoy, and people might make fun of you for it, right? Just speaking frankly, then if you don't do it, then maybe you won't be picked on, right? Maybe you won't be picked on, and maybe in some situations, being picked on is not what you want. Let's say you're in prison, or like, you're in school, right? And you don't have access to your own money or your own stuff, and you have to put up with the fucking idiots in your class, right? Who are all fucking hooligans, right? Or you're in prison, right? And like there are these fucking murderers and rapists in there, right? Maybe you shouldn't broadcast what you love, right? Because maybe it's a surefire ticket for you to like have some real trouble coming your way. But ordinarily, if you don't do what you love, then I don't know what to tell you. You might not get picked on, right? But you'll never be able to like feel truly free and in ownership of yourself, right? right? You'll you know, and you know, I don't know. It's just like recently I've been like thinking a bit about like, yeah, like thing is like I know that I need to get tougher a bit. Like I don't present the most. Well, this is the thing, right? It's like I want to, I want to be strong in my own way. I don't necessarily like, yes, like there's the ideal of strength in the form of like maybe like someone with like a fucking massive build and like a tattoo on their arm and like a buzz cut, right? Someone who looks like they're out of jail and prison, right? Or someone who is like, really aggressive as like a business person, like whatever it might be, right? But like I think, but it's more like being strong in your own way, right? Being strong in your own way, right? And love, believe it or not, can be a strength, but you just have to use it the right way, right? There's a technique to it, right? It doesn't mean throwing yourself over a puddle so that anyone can walk over you like a doormat. No, it means, yeah, I mean, I'm already going down this road, but like love can disarm people, for better or for worse. It's up to you to decide what you do with it. I'm just speaking objectively. Like love can be it can be disarm. You can disarm people with it. Using a more graphic example, like weakness, like not like being a pacifist can work for you. In the sense, right, that like, that you might not be big and tough, but other people might feel sorry for you, right? Ain't no one gonna feel sorry for like the fucking big prison guy, right? No one's feeling sorry for the fucking prison inmate, with a 6-pack, and like 50-inch like arms, right? No one's gonna feel sorry for that guy. But like, being a lover, can earn people's sympathy, right? I'm not saying it will absolutely, but it can. I'm just chucking out random shit right now, right? But like, anyway, I'm probably gonna wrap this up soon. But like, the point I'm trying to make is like, if you are like a sensitive person, if you're like a healer type, and just you don't see yourself being like this like either like this big hulking beast of a man, or like obviously I'm talking specifically about men here, but like or like some kind of big shot tycoon who's like a billionaire, right, and he has connections everywhere. Like, if you don't see yourself in that light, then you don't have to be like that, right? And it's like, yeah, it sucks that you can't be like them, right? But like, think about what you do have. You can touch people in a way that they can't, right? Their world is predicated on like dominance, right? It's the strongest survives, right? But for you, yeah, it sucks. You're not the strongest. I'm not the strongest. I'm not. I try to not be like an absolute pushover, but like either physically or like socially, right? But I'm not like a heavyweight or anything like that. I'm not a fighter. I am not a fighter by my nature. I'm a lover. And I say that with absolute solemnity because that's what I am. Like, ask me like a year ago, I wouldn't have been sure. I'm like, yeah, I'm both, I guess. But it's like, I can be both. Obviously, you have to be both, right? You have to fight when you need to, but like, metaphorically, primarily. But like, if you're a healer sensitive type, you're a healer sensitive type. What are you gonna do about it, right? When you make your art, or you do that service that heals people, you're giving your gift, right? Like, as long as you can take care of yourself and protect yourself adequately, then why should you be a tough guy? I mean, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. Like, if anything, the reason how I figured out that I'm definitely not a tough guy type, even though in the past I've like thought about it and like, maybe I should get strong and like imposing so that people don't mess with me, right? or rather so that people will respect me. But it's like, I'm already 29, right? And it's like, I'm already 29. I don't think things are going to change. I've been doing this thing in my life so far that has bring me a lot of joy. And I can see myself doing it for other people as well, and to give them joy. And that's what I'm about. And yeah, I've learned a few tricks, right? I've learned not to like get myself in shady situations. I've learned not to like let people hold me like energetically ransom, right? Energetic vampirism, right? Again, it's a two-way thing. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but like, yeah, it's a two-way thing. You know, people can only leech off of you energetically if you allow them to, right? And yeah, it's a tough thing. You know, it's like, it's tough for any sensitive person to say no to people, and to like basically be a bit of an asshole, right? But like, that's just how it is. And like, when you learn to do it, like, it will help you. Trust me, it will. Because you can then focus more on what you love, right? But anyway, yeah, I hope that point was clear, right? Sorry about the fucking interruption in the middle of this entry. Like, people are stupid. But anyway, yeah, so the message really is just, specifically this entry was more tailored towards like healer types. And like, I know a lot of what I said was kind of a bit, you know, maybe not like the most uplifting or spiritual, you know, or that kind of thing, or healing, but like, I'm just giving my thoughts. Like, just know that what you're doing has a lot of value, and champion it, right? Champion love, right? And yeah, and you will learn when not to be naive. You don't have to force it, right? So if you're feeling like, when you feel taken advantage of by other people or whatever, you know, you'll learn. Trust me, like, I was super gullible. You know, if it weren't for like my family and like some of my friends, like, I would have been picked on so hard. I was kind of picked on when I was a kid. You know, not really badly, but like, you know, it's just like, if this will happen to you already, right? If you're like a sensitive person, you will probably get picked on. But you learn as you get older that you can not get into those situations, right? And you can instead focus on making the stuff that you like, right? And basically saying fuck you to everyone else, right? I know, like, the overall thing was to be like, you know, positive. I guess I'm slightly lower state than I was last week. But yeah, but I know that after this, after I've done being this crappy car park, I can go home and work, eat a meal and work on what I want to work on, right? So yeah, so that's my entry. I hope it was insightful as usual, and I hope you will keep going. I hope nothing I said was a discouragement to you, because that is absolutely not my intention. I mean, I just run my mouth on this channel, but like, my message for you watching this video is that you might have to learn some self-defense as you get older. Because when you open your eyes to the real world, sometimes you see things that shock you. I'm not going to say are shitty, but like, they will just shock you, or scare you, and, you know, rub you the wrong way. But, you know, if you're on this path, you're on the right path. The world owes you so much. I owe you so much. You know, we all owe each other so much, because we're brave enough to make beautiful stuff in the world. What happens to beautiful stuff in the world? People deface it. It's just, that's what stupid people do, right? But like, the most beautiful thing is something they will never be able to deface, which is your soul that you carry with you on this journey, that makes the arts, that does the socially conscious business, right? That aims to be the best, because like, they want to like because you want to push yourself to becoming better, right? healthier, smarter, more affluent. Whatever it might be, whatever you love, you're on the right path. I just want to say that to you, right? And I hope that my message in these videos is to love in spite of fear and pain. That's really the zinger, right? It is not simply to love, right? Because love by itself does not exist as a singularity. Love is paired with pain and fear and negativity, right? And yeah, I sound like a flowery ass. Like, it's just the way I talk, right? I talk in poems. Like, poems just fly out of my mouth. I just don't know how to stop it. No, but like, as a human being, as a spiritual being, as a human being, as you, what the best thing that you can do is to bravely face the ugliness of life and to champion love in spite of it. Not necessarily in spite of, but like, to you it merges together into life, you see? For most people it's like love and hate, light and dark, right? And it's like, yeah, we all think like that. But the thing is that when you start to follow your heart and really commit to it and stay loyal to it, to you, right, to life, then whatever happens, you will, like, everything will come together for you. Even if it's not in the way that you think. Because, hell, I wish I was a millionaire right about now, don't you? Right? I don't have to fucking worry about money anymore. It's like, no, that's not going to happen anytime soon. Right? It might, but it's highly, 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 highly unlikely, right? But what does come together for me is that I'm clear about what I want to do in life. And I'm clear about the love that I feel in my heart. And I'm clear about the way that I want to fuck the stupid kids pranking me, Yeah. Fuck that. AKA, like, whatever they do is not up to me. Right? It's not up to me. The backhand that I administer to their faces is not up to me. I'll let someone else do that. Right? But what I can control is what I focus on in my life, which is what I love, and the feeling of it. So cool. Thank you, as usual, for watching this, guys. If you have a comment, feel free to leave it below in the comment section. And yeah, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. It would make me happy. No, it's just nice, when recently, like, I've been getting some more subscribers, so hello, subscribers. And all of you old subscribers out there, I'm still not sure how to reach you. Like, I'm kind of like not planning, but like, yeah, I have like this assortment of things that I'm doing. Like, I do, if you don't already know, I do these vlog entries where I talk about life and spirituality and personal development, stuff like that. Goings on in the world, random shit that I find cool and interesting. But I also have a gaming channel and I have a Let's Play channel, right? And on the Let's Play channel I do video game stuff, and on the music channel I stream myself playing piano and practicing piano and also producing, and also upload my own music on there, right? So at some point I think maybe these things are probably going to have to merge, if not as channels, like, eventually, like, I'm going to have to come out as a persona, or like, my people are going to know me as the person who does all of these things, right? But like, if you like any of those things, then I encourage you to check out my channels. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to go now. So cool. I hope this was helpful and not too disparaging. I only say what I say because it's what I see in my life, and I try not to hold anything back. Not because I like talking about random shit that is, like about like slapping kids on, it's shit like that. It's just, I don't know, it's just how it is. But like, yeah, again, in spite of all of the shit that happens to me and you, the most important thing for us is to keep moving forwards in the direction of love. So cool. Thank you for watching this, guys, and I will catch you in the next Bojinjin vlog. Until then, keep going, keep loving, keep being awesome, and keep being you. Peace out, guys. See you soon. Bye.